Hi, I'm Child of Bones. I'm a magical practitioner, practicing witch. I have been for the last 20 years, and the deities that I've built up a relationship with magically for the last 20 years, and the plant spirits. What we did as a collective is we actually produced a product line called Child of Bones, and our products are sponsored by the deities that I've worked with over the years. So they're deity inspired, if you like. And today we're going to talk about Nemesis, the great goddess Nemesis, Lady of the Night. Nemesis is often known and renowned for being upholding justice, retribution, and balancing darkness. And Nemesis she is a formidable mother, but she is a beautiful, beautiful, regal, powerful force. So basically, Nemesis upholds that if you're only informed by if you're only informed by the light, then sometimes you need a balancing effect with the shadow as well, and therefore we have equilibrium. That if we only seek one aspect or one hue of power, then maybe the other hue of power could inform us as well, and then we have balance. So there's lots of different things. Obviously she's an ancient goddess, she's been around a long time, a lot of her power accumulated and a lot of association with Nemesis. So this rebalancing nature of her and with justice has a sweeping effect over time. So when we summon, or when we request the presence, I should say, of Nemesis, and should she be willing, then we need to be careful, because our what may seem important request may be that it ricochets out in all time, because Nemesis is like a timeless ancient goddess, and rebalance her. Okay, so sometimes when we ask for balancing in the here and now, we may not always see the bigger picture of what has been and what's to come to pass. So it's just to say that really it's an interesting energy to work with, and often I feel when communicating with the likes of Nemesis that the less you say the better, the more about being informed by her really. Often we need to be careful when we go to gods that are known to have the powers of retribution at their disposal. When I say we need to be careful, it's often because what people maybe don't understand is that when we ask for a god force to help us to harm somebody else or to restore what we perceive as balancing, what we don't tend to understand is that energy often erupts within us. So when we are under the stream of a magical power, especially one as strong and as intense as Nemesis, we are changed as well. So we may call her and contact her and get her attention, and we want something external from ourselves that we perceive as imbalanced, and maybe it is, sure. Inside us is changed because we're showered by her power. Therefore, we, as a consequence, can end up in the dock of a court as well. So while we're saying that this person needs rebalancing, or this person or situation is out of whack, and we want Nemesis to balance it because then our lives will be better, and there's a place for that. I'm not saying there's not, but I'm saying always be aware that you may end up in the dock yourself with Nemesis about perceived imbalances that you've caused, or that that you have hidden from even yourself and your own perception. It's always good to have that in mind. Then it's not a shock when it happens. When we work with Nemesis energy, we tend to open ourselves up to being restored. Okay, you can't really ask Nemesis to go off and do this, and this. I mean, that's not really how it works. People perceive that are new to magic it works like that. Sometimes it doesn't, okay? You usually have to form a very strong relationship over time with a deity for them to go off and do, your headhunting for you. It doesn't really work like that. It may to a newcomer be perceived that someone can do that, but usually there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, okay? And so she teaches a lot, and she teaches us that when we contact her energy for whatever reason, we become restored, we become balanced, that karmic perception over time really has a sweeping effect. And when you ride the Nemesis wave, boy, you know, it's a really amazing ride. I can say that from personal experience. But the balancing and the sweeping can come from all angles that you didn't even perceive that were coming. It's like that Johari window where others can see that you can't see in yourself. It's a fascinating to be open to Nemesis and to be restored. It's a fascinating experience, you know. But you know, it's a bit trippy. You can't imagine sometimes the angles that the balancing comes from. Anyway, hence, she's an ancient goddess. And so, of course, she would know things about us that maybe we had hidden from ourselves. So anyway, to get on with the brew here today, Nemesis herself instructed the specific ingredients and signature energies that were going into her brew, the Nemesis brew. It's based in salt. Salt being a natural preservative, so it's not going to go off, and trust me, you need such a small amount when working with Nemesis. This brew itself is so potent and taps so strongly into her river of power, her magical power, that you really need small amounts here. Okay, so if you want to know about embracing the beauty of darkness, if you want to know about how power exists in all hues, you know, it's not just the light, it's all hues. If you want this midnight lady to teach you and take you on a journey of rebalancing power within yourself and restoration, then this is a beautiful path work, just so you know. Now, justice, Nemesis, hand in hand, okay, the balm. This is a distillation of the brew, so it's not a beauty cream, okay, it's got beeswax in it, so if you're, you know, vegan, you may not want to go near the balm. So what this is Nemesis's power is very strong, very large repertoire there of magical intent in her river of power. Now what I've done is I've taken out a very distinct channel of power within that river, and what we've done together, Nemesis and I, is put it in the brew, into the balm, sorry. This balm is for justice, so perceived injustice. Should you want to use this for an external situation, that's what you would start to do. You would use the balm. You can apply it to an area, you can apply it to a dolly. You would personalize the doll to be the recipient of the restoration of power and the rebalancing of power. So you would personalize the doll, and then over 9 nights you would actually add the balm to the doll away from the eyes of the living, and then should you need this wrapped up, you would then cover the doll and then you would bury it in the earth, okay, under the guidance of Nemesis, okay. And be very careful, because you can do that for yourself and you can do it on others, but you be very careful that you've really contemplated what you're doing with this great lady's energy, because you can end up in the dock yourself, and rebalancing a power when it's only seen through a perception of ourselves sometimes isn't the whole of the story. So it comes with a little bit of a warning there. But that is Nemesis power, and that's a little introduction into her sacred brews that she's asked me to make for her. And the next video clip that we're going to do is on Peeling, the warrior goddess.